What's going on, Dolphins? I'm making a quick video. I just finished watching the Tennessee game against the Buccaneers because I wanted to see how, you know, Tannehill played and everything, and I'm looking at these other games and everything, and I haven't been able to watch as much as I would like, but I am gonna watch more as the week goes on and stuff. Obviously, we have our game tomorrow, but I did want to real quick, you know, note a couple things from these games. So I wanted to, you know, do a quick little roundup of week 8 thus far. And so first of all, the Bengals lost again, so they are still winless along with us. They lost to the Rams 24-10. So, you know, that keeps the little race for the number 1 pick in play. The Washington Redskins lost again to the Minnesota Vikings, so they're still, you know, high in the draft order, you know, vying for possibly the number 1 pick, depending on how things play out, blah, blah, blah. The Colts beat the Broncos 15-13. That's interesting because we do play the Colts later on in the year. So, you know, we'll see what their record is at that time, but they did just pull out a victory against the Broncos. Like I said, I did just finish watching the condensed version, you know, because I have NFL Game Pass. So I finished watching the condensed version of the Tennessee Titans game, and the Titans ended up winning 27-23. Tannehill had like a couple hundred passing yards. He didn't have a lot of yards because their defense kept giving them super short fields, so he didn't really have to go all that far, but he had 3 touchdowns. He's now 2-0 as the Tennessee Titans starter, and you know, so I mean, I'm rooting for Tannehill because I like him. I think he's a really good quarterback, and he played great. I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means, and he had some mistakes and some things that I'm sure he would say that you know, he would want back, but nothing major. And like there were a couple instances in which there were interceptions, but they were brought back because of penalties, but rightfully so. Like one of them was I forgot what the other one was, but one of them was I think it was like a roughing the passer penalty. Anyway, one of them, oh yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, so one of them was a pass interference, and the defender, not only it was a defensive pass interference, but not only was it a pass interference, like he pushed off of the receiver and intercepted the ball. So he was also the intercepting player. So he only intercepted it because he drew that penalty or you know, commit that penalty or whatever. The other one was a blatant roughing the passer. I want to say it was Gerald McCoy. I don't think he's still one of their defensive tackles. I can't remember who it was, but one of their defensive tackles just like straight drilled Tannehill right in the face, helmet to helmet. So I mean, he wasn't perfect by any means, you know, but he played really good, and he certainly did what he had to do to bring the team, you know, to a victory. And so now the Titans are 4-4 on the season. You know, they are at 500. He is in firm control of this team as far as the quarterback situation goes. And look, man, I think that if the Titans are smart and they build around him, I mean, look, he just needs some more weapons. Derrick Henry is good, but they need to improve that offensive line. It looks a little bit, they're not terrible, certainly better than what he's had in previous years. But you know, they need to, you know, fix that a little bit, improve upon that, and then, you know, get him some help in the receiving department, you know, with receivers and tight ends, because, I mean, doesn't really seem like, I mean, with my limited watch time and whatever of the Titans, it didn't look like, you know, he's really got that much help. He could have used some more help. Like, they were dropping some passes and some stuff, and, you know, anyway. So, and Derrick Henry did fumble the ball, so, like, whatever. Anyway, I think they could end up being really good. I mean, their defense is really good and, super stout. So, I think Tannehill's got a bright future there in Tennessee. And I mean, he's still young enough that he could have, is he going to play as long as like Brady and some of the greats are playing? I don't know. But I mean, even Ryan Fitzpatrick, even if he played as long as Ryan Fitzpatrick is playing, I mean, currently, then yeah, he could still have a really good career and make it to the playoffs and stuff. And I hope he does. And he has that chance now with the Tennessee Titans. He's also got Cody Parkey there, former Dolphins teammate, and Cameron Wake, of course. That's really interesting. But anyway, moving on real quick, the Jets lost again to the Jaguars, 29-15. So, yeah, I mean, again, I was wrong about that. I thought the Jets were going to have a better season. Things are going rough there for my boy Gase and his first season, for the Jets. He didn't walk into a perfect situation by any means, but I am curious to see, and see, look, I'm not going to... Look, there's a lot going on there. They had problems going on and, like the front office and stuff for a little while, prior to that. Obviously they cleared house a bit. And so, it's a fresh thing. I mean, similar to like we did and other teams did, right? So he's in a fresh situation. And so, he's got some time. And again, I've said that most regimes, under most circumstances, ours is an exception because to me they've crossed boundaries that make this regime unredeemable in my mind. But most regimes, I say, give them a 5-year window. So, I would say over the next, 4 years after this, Gase needs to prove himself that he can, and obviously the front office and so on and so forth need to prove themselves, but as well. But, he needs to prove himself that he can get this team in the right direction. And I have confidence in him, and I think he will. Also, another note of interest, the Eagles beat the Bills 31-13. So the Bills just dropped another game. They are now 5-2, I believe, on the season. So they're still, they still have a good record. I'm not really sure what the rest of their schedule looks like and how tough it looks, but we'll see what happens. It's their second loss now. Let's see if they continue to be a good team. They do have some weaknesses on offense. They have a really stout defense, but again, like I said, I don't know who they play the rest of the way down the stretch. So I don't know if the other teams they play are going to have, potent offenses or not and be able to overcome their defense or what have you. But, we'll see how they go. So, obviously a point of interest because, we play them twice a year. We still have to play them again. And, yeah, it'll, we'll see. And it's the division as well. There's always that constant competition between not just all of the teams in the division, but also too, like, who's going to be the heir apparent to the fucking Patriots and blah 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 blah. Anyway, also the Lions beat the Giants 31-26. They did manage 26 points there. That's of interest simply because we play the Giants later on. The Patriots beat the Browns 27-13. I did mention that in my previous video, but mention that because that's for two reasons. Well, first of all, one, again, so now the Browns are, I believe, 2-5. So the best example, the closest example to what the Dolphins are doing that you can find in the NFL is turning out to be not so, not so good after all, right? It's turning out to be kind of a big mess. And so, I think it's foreshadowing what we can expect as Dolphins fans. But also the other point is that the Patriots are now 8-0. They are officially halfway through their season, and they are still undefeated. The rest of their season is pretty weak. I have seen their schedule. They play us again. I still think they have to play the... No, they might have played the Jets both times already. I can't recall if they've already played the Jets twice. But if not, then they have to play the Jets one more time. They definitely have to play the Bills once more, right? So, I mean, I think one of the... Well, I can't remember who they played. It's hard to keep all this shit straight. But one of those two, one of the Bills, either the Bills or the Jets, they might have played twice already. But either way, whatever. And I don't remember all exactly the teams that they do have to play down the stretch. But I do know that I looked at it recently, and I even watched some videos where people were talking about it and stuff like that. And so, they don't really have that strong of a schedule, and they could very easily go 16-0 throughout the remainder of the season. And that is super scary. And their defense is like, I mean, dude, and you know what their offense is. We've always known what their offense is, but their defense is playing at the same kind of elite level that Tom Brady plays at. Like their entire defense is playing cumulatively to the level of Tom Brady. That's fucking scary. Anyway, so let's see. The Texans beat the Raiders 27-24. So that's relevant because that obviously drops our draft pick that we got from them. I mean, I expect them to make the playoffs anyway. So, it should be probably mid-20s depending on how far they get into the playoffs anyway. But yeah, and then so, obviously other than that, so that's, those were all the notable games from today and ones that are relevant to us in some way, shape, or form, whether we play them, whether they're just in our division, whether they're the undefeated Patriots threatening our perfect season, or, what have you. Or maybe it's just, players and coaches and stuff that I like. But like I said, I was wrong about things. I was wrong about the Jets and the Browns having good seasons. But you gotta be objective. And so now we have tomorrow night, we have in prime time, the Dolphins and the Steelers. I expect the Steelers to win, as you guys know from my preview video. But if the Steelers end up going on a streak, and especially if they somehow do manage to sneak into the playoffs, whatever, whether it just be the 6th seed, wild card, whatever. I mean, because they do have a chance to win a game in the playoffs too. So they could advance, right? And so, look, if that ends up happening, then that pick, then especially if they make the playoffs, then the Steelers pick would then drop all the way down, probably somewhere, like early 20s-ish, right? Maybe mid-20s. So we could end up having the number 1 pick, sure, but we could then end up having 2 first round picks, but in the 20s, probably like somewhere in the mid-20s. So, we'll see, man. We'll see how this goes. Anyway, I just wanted to make a relatively quick video just to kind of, talk about that stuff a little bit because I was interested and I had a little time to sit down and watch a game, so I decided to watch the Titans game. And yeah, my boy Tannehill did well, man. He held it down. I'm proud of him, and I think he's going to continue to do well. And I think so now he's going into the second half of his career. What I'm calling the second half of his career. I mean, could he end up having some kind of injury that, whatever, blah, 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 sure. So you never know. But he's been in the league, what, 7-8 years now? I think this is his 8th year, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's about half of what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. And so, again, so just kind of going off that. And I think that Ryan Tannehill certainly wants to continue playing for a while, right? He's, anyway, I don't want to say anything. I was going to say something about Andrew Luck, but I don't want to. Because I don't want to bring in his, his mental state and stuff like that, because if he doesn't feel like he's, mentally in it, then I do think he should be out. But it goes to show you Ryan Tannehill's toughness, despite, all of the criticisms, the hate, the bad hands, the beatings that he's taken, the injury, that massive injury and all that. And look at how he's responding, how he continues to come in, day out, push, fight, and look at him, man. I mean, it's the dude's, it speaks for itself. And it blows my mind how people talk shit about him, but they're just, anyway, enough about that. I did want to, talk about that because I had a little time to sit down and watch that, and I wanted to kind of cover, the rest of the game since they are now done and over with, and we kind of have a little bit better of a picture now that we're about halfway through the season. So anyway, with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoy my videos and my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Make sure you share my videos and my channel with your friends and your family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.